What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Vince, if you guys are new, and this is my 2020 Toyota Supra. This channel is mainly focused on me building this car to exactly how I want it to be. So at the end of the day, this is a street car. It is my daily. Put a ton of miles on it. Check out my other videos talking about my experience with it. But I do have a top mount 6870 on this car. Makes a lot of power. It is a lot for the street. And a lot of people are wondering how it's like to have a car like this on the street to daily. I go over my experience on other videos, but in today's video, we're gonna be going over the top 5 most annoying things going top mount. If you guys are new to the Supra game, maybe you just picked one up, maybe you're curious about it. My car started off with a downpipe and exhaust when I first bought the car, then slowly progressed from there. And here I am now, basically maxing out the stock block. If you guys are current owners and you have a modified one, maybe you're wondering what it's like to have a top mount Supra. So hopefully I cover pretty much everything. If you guys have any comments or concerns, let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys like this video, make sure you guys subscribe for more so you can see where this car goes. Let's go over the top 5 most annoying things about going the top mount route. The first thing, of course, is you have to have the supporting mods to really maximize the setup. It's not just as simple as really just getting the turbo kit and then slapping it on, getting a tune, and calling it a day. First things first, you have to have the fueling for it. In addition to that, of course, if you guys are not super familiar with this platform, the stock transmission, this is for the automatics, they only max out at about 600 to 650 wheel torque. So anything past that, you're gonna start slipping on the 6, 7, 8 gears. With the transmission, it's not cheap to build your transmission because you gotta pay the person, pay the shop to take out the transmission. They would either build it or send it somewhere else to get it done, and it's not cheap. You gotta pay to play at the end of the day. That is gonna be the main focus of this video. Keep that in mind. If you guys are wondering who built my transmission, it is Brian Scholl with applied.torque.solutions. And he's located here locally to DFW. I also have to give Brian a shout out because I'm very thankful for all the help that he's done with this car. Can't forget about the low pressure fuel pump. If you're gonna go the reflex kit, you also have to have the axles to support the power if you guys are gonna be drag racing it. For me personally, I still have stock axles because, I mean, it's my daily driver. I'm not drag racing it all the time. I've already broken 2 axles. It's not cheap. I know whenever you start dumping a lot of power into a car, shit's gonna start breaking. It's just expected. You also have to have a way to put down the power to the ground. What does that mean? You guys gotta get a proper wheel and tire setup. I'm running 18-inch T37s on this, and in the rears, I'm running Nino NT555 R2s. Ideally on those tires, it is basically a street radial. Honestly, it drives great. It's not super loud like the R888s that I had. That was just way too annoying. I know for some of the weekend warriors here, you guys don't mind it, but I drive my car every day, so it's gonna get annoying for me. You can't really enjoy the car if you're slipping and sliding everywhere, or you're turning all the stability control off, the traction control off, which is kind of just part of the tuning process to really maximize the setup. So make sure you guys gotta get proper tires for it. And then of course, in addition to that, you do have to get a catch can. Not super essential, but highly, highly recommended. And then PCV block offs or a valve cover replacement that Visconti offers. I know VTT also offers it, but this is to prevent all of the oil from just shooting up on your hood and then just caking it all on there. So you kind of pair that with the catch can to make sure that all of your oil is in there instead of in the hood. I'll go over one of my gripes about the catch can. Just getting the turbo kit, you gotta buy all that stuff. Make sure you guys do your research, watch my other videos where I go over the true cost of going a build like this, but it's not as simple as it seems. Make sure that you guys keep that in mind whenever you're thinking about going this route. Is what the hell are your supporting mods gonna be? Second point is you start modifying things, stuff is gonna go wrong. I went over this on my first video after I went the top mount route. That's a dyno video where Mikey and I were talking about the car. You changed a lot of the stock parts over to aftermarket parts. You add more variables to the equation. You already can guess that more stuff is gonna probably go wrong. So in my personal case, and this is completely user error, the wiring was wrong for the fuel pump. I didn't get the plugs seated all the way in, so the secondary fuel pump, it wasn't fully engaging. And then of course, on my boost controller, I couldn't get past wastegate because the plumbing for the boost controller into the wastegates was wrong. I mean, stuff like that, it's really hard to tell that it's not installed correctly until you actually are there tuning it, and then your tuner's like, hey, this is wrong. Or maybe you can feel it from the get-go that it's not pulling as you would expect. So just keep that in mind. Regardless of what platform you go with, anytime you add more stuff, expect it to go wrong, and make sure that you double, triple check it if possible. Have a shop, have a professional take a look at it. For me, I had Brian help me out, and also Tony from iAutoWorks, so give them a follow on Instagram. They helped me out with this. I mean, I probably would have been racking my head trying to figure out what the hell was wrong with it, and they saved my ass. It's a hard lesson learned, a lot of time spent on it, long nights. I just want you guys to be aware of that, to just make sure that you know that when you add all this stuff, it's probably gonna be messed up some way or the other. Just take the time to get it right the first time, and you won't have to worry about it like I did. 3 more points that I want to go over. Let's switch the camera angle just so you guys can see other angles of the car. All right, now we're at the back of the car to go over the last 3 things that is so annoying about going the top mount route. The third thing is you have to empty your catch can every so often. I apologize in advance if there's more of you guys that are more technically minded than I am. I'm not the expert whenever it comes to stuff like this, so I just want to mention that. But whenever you go a bigger turbo route like this doesn't count the pure 800 route, even though it is bigger than stock turbo. Because it is in the stock location, the system is already accounting for this. But whenever you go a top mount route like this, whether it's 64, 66, or any of the Garrett turbos or Zonal rotor turbos, whatever it is, there's gonna be more crankcase pressure in your motor. So what that means is that oil has to go somewhere. It's pressurized in there, and whenever you go high into boost and you're pushing the engine, of course, the oil has to go somewhere. That's why I talked about the PCV block-offs, because if you don't have that, and you don't have a catch can, all that pressure is just gonna shoot up, and what's up? It's the hood. For me, I have the KLM catch can, which has been great, but I mean, every so often you just have to make sure that you empty that, otherwise it's gonna overflow with oil, and then also you have to make sure that you top off your oil. Otherwise, if you didn't come from the Subaru community, you expect a spun bearing, which means an engine rebuild. So no one wants that. But yeah, it is annoying because I went from like a pure 800, never really worrying about my engine oil levels, which I kept track of on EcuTech and also on the infotainment screen. Never have to worry about it. But now I have to make sure that I'm on top of it. Otherwise, we're gonna have an expensive mistake. The fourth thing is that a lot of the power, as great as it is to be able to tell your friends, your wife, your husband, whoever it is asking, like, yeah, I make X amount of power. Ultimately, the streetable power that this car can put down, regardless of whether or not you have the proper tires for it, it's not gonna be the entire thing, because it's kind of like that meme that you probably see on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it is. Why do all these people need all this power just to go to 60 miles per hour? Even though us car guys hate that, car girls hate that, I mean, there's truth into it. So for me, for something like this, like usually I drive it around the 800 to 850 wheel horsepower range with my MAP 3, which is about 36 pounds of boost, 37 pounds of boost. It's not that often, honestly, that I can use that power to enjoy it. You can see in the back, there's the highway there. I mean, typically around here in the Dallas area, speed limit's about 65 to 75 miles per hour. As much as that, I guess, joke, meme, whatever you want to call it, hurts, it is true. The truth hurts. So just keep that in mind. If you guys want to go crazy power levels, whether you have a daily driver or a street car, but if it's going to be strictly a track car, then who cares? You know, shoot for the moon, whatever. And then of course the last thing is that in addition to just the streetable power range or streetable power, whenever someone wants to pull up next to you while you're in Mexico, 99.9% of the time, you're probably gonna whoop their ass. So it's not as exciting. Even for me, like, I'm not trying to brag or anything because ultimately I built this car for me to enjoy. I didn't build it for the cloud. I didn't build it for, you know, bragging rights or whatever. I wanted to build a fast, comfortable street car that me and whoever my passenger is can enjoy. And that's exactly what I got. You see some random car like, you know, some random 5.0 Mustang, some random Hellcat, and then they don't have bead locks on or drag radials on, you probably already know that you're gonna whoop their ass. It's not as exciting because whenever you're in Mexico and you're right there, right neck and neck, you know, it gets the heart going, adrenaline pumping. But if you already know that you're gonna whoop their ass, and you're kind of just like, let's just get it over with, or you're just not even gonna bother it. So I do miss those days where I was around like the 500, 600 wheel horsepower range, where, you know, like some random car, some big V8 supercharged car can just roll up next to me, and then we can have an exciting race and we're both having a good time. Just keep that in mind. Those are the 5 things that is most annoying about going the top mount route from my personal experience. Of course, there's probably other annoying things. If you guys have a top mount and you want to chime in, feel free to leave a comment below. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Hopefully that this does help you in your decision making, because not a lot of people, I feel like, talk about the top mount route on YouTube or any of the other social media. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video.